Okay, we're going to talk about the commutative and the associative properties. You've probably learned these a couple of times, but we're going to kind of play with them and have a little fun today. We have the commutative property of addition. You can probably hear my dog slopping away at water in the background. Sorry. We have the commutative property of addition. That means basically you can add in any order. A plus B is the same as B plus A. The associative property means to group. So we can group numbers in any order, and if we're adding them, we're going to get the same answer. Commutative property of multiplication means we can multiply in any order. And the associative property of multiplication means we can group in any order and still multiply and get the same answer. So, for example, down here, let's say we wanted to do the associative property here. Remember, associate, who do you hang around with? Who do you associate with? Right now, according to this, X and Y are associating with each other. But if we wanted to change their association, what we could do is we could now say Y and Z are associating together. How about commutative here? Commutative means to commute, to go back and forth. So right now, we have X plus Y being added to Z. The commutative property would have them change their places. So that means Y would go in the front, Z would go in the front, and X plus Y would go in the back. So we're going to do a little fun thing here. We're going to do our first little thing called a proof. And to do anything in math and make it stick, you have to prove that it always works. So a flow chart here is kind of like how our mind sees things. We kind of just flow, and then we go, aha, and we get the answer. So for example here, we want to start off with xy in parentheses times z, but we want to end this way. And we have to use our laws of associative or commutative. So first thing I want to notice is I want to see how I end. I end with a z in the front, but I start with a z in the back. So how do I get to the front? Oh, commutative property. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take z, move it to the front, and take the xy and move it to the back. There, I just did the commutative property of multiplication. All right, so now I'm going to inspect my ending a little more. And now I see that the y is in the second place. But I got an x in the second place. Oh, guess what? I can do commutative property again. If I can find my pen. There we go. The z is staying here, but inside I'm going to switch the y in the x's place. So once again, I did a mathematical commutative property of multiplication. And finally, I see that the z and the y are grouped together here. But the z and the y are not grouped together here. So since I'm moving parentheses, I did the associative property of multiplication. And there, my mind flowed, and I went from one step to the other so that I got to the end that I was looking for. Now we're going to do this tomorrow in class. We're going to look through here and we're going to try and decide whether the commutative property of addition, multiplication, associative property of addition, or associative property of multiplication occurred to get from one to the other. So we'll hold that off till tomorrow. But I just want to end on one little more flow chart just to see what we're up against for understanding this stuff. So Basically, this is what this is saying. I started off with this big blob, and whoop, I got to this big blob. So remember, we only learned 4 things today. So what changed? I'm going to look here. I always look in the first spot. Is the first spot the same? No, the parentheses moved. I'm regrouping. A is not being grouped with B anymore. B is being grouped with C. That means I did an associative property, and it's actually an associative property of addition. All right, let's look now what changed. Let's do green. How did we change from here? Hey, oh, I can't see what's under there. There's a big red thing. But they said I did an associative property. And then I did another associative property to get here at the end. So what did I do in the middle there? Well, I'm going to check. B and C are grouped together here, but B and C are not grouped together there. In fact, D and C are grouped together. And A, well, A is moved out totally of the brackets. So I moved these brackets. That's why it's associative. Oh, I see what I did. I took these brackets and associated 2 other things together. Now it's a little confusing, but when we do that flowchart tomorrow, you'll see it. And we're also going to do this proof in class. We're going to prove by using that flowchart reasoning why this statement can change into that statement. Okay, see you tomorrow.